And new developments this morning when we're talking about the tensions between India and Canada. India suspending visa services for Canadians this morning. That is developing as a story that we're following closely. In fact, Anne-Marie's got more right now.
Yeah, Linz, lots of questions on what this means, who will be affected. But first, I want to remind everybody, this is what we heard from India's Ministry of External Affairs just about an hour ago.
But the issue is of incitement to violence, the inaction by the Canadian authorities, and a creation of an environment that disrupts the functioning of our High Commission and consulates. That's what's making us stop temporarily this issuance of visas or providing visa services.
So that's their explanation as to why this appears to be the latest escalation in a diplomatic dispute that comes after Ottawa this week accused India of being involved in the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Joining us now for a look at what this means is immigration lawyer Joel Sandaluk. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
All foreigners need a visa to enter India. What does this mean for anybody, first of all, who has plans to travel to that country?
Well, if they already have a visa to travel to India, they'll be fine. They'll be able to enter India on that visa. But anybody seeking a visa now, for example, for travel in the winter and the new year, won't be able to get it until India resumes visa services.
And what about people who are of Indian descent but hold a Canadian passport? And of course, we know India doesn't have dual citizenship, and they want to apply to go to India.
It's not exactly clear. All of this is very new, but it seems like they simply won't be able to get to India for any reason. The interesting thing about this is you're right that this is an escalation over a dispute between Canada and India. The two countries have been trading travel advisories back and forth and accusing each other of being unsafe. And now it remains to be seen what Canada will do if Canada will continue to escalate by denying visa services to India, which affects a great many people. About 40% of Canada's 800,000 visa students are Indian. Canada issues about 120,000 immigrant visas to Indians a year, not to mention the tens of thousands of work permits, visitor visas, and what have you. There's a lot of ties between Canada and India, and in particular, Canada has an enormous Sikh diaspora in this country. So there's a possibility for there to be a great deal of inconvenience and even pain on both sides of this dispute.
You brought up students, and that's who I'm thinking of this morning. How does that affect their visas while they're here in Canada now and perhaps getting home?
It's hard to say exactly. Generally speaking, Indian nationals who are not dual citizens of Canada won't require visas to go to India, but they still will require consular services. So to what extent those consular services are limited or suspended will have an adverse impact on them. And then, of course, obviously, should Canada respond in kind, there could be a significant impact to hundreds of thousands of individuals in Canada.
When you're taking a look, we heard the travel advisory yesterday. We've escalated this morning to the stopping of visas. Where does that leave us?
I suppose you could say that leaves the ball in Canada's court, and it's not clear exactly how Canada will deal with it. Canada could respond in kind, or Canada could back off slightly and allow visas to continue to process in this country for Indian nationals, or in India for people wishing to travel here.
Yeah, where else could this escalation go?
It's hard to say. Canada can suspend admission to this country by Indian nationals. Canada can expel Indian nationals, and India, in turn, can do the same. This is really uncharted water for the Canadian government. It's very rare for Canada to have an international dispute of this nature, and the accusation against the government of India is extraordinary. It's one of these things that we're used to imagine from despotic regimes like Saudi Arabia killing Jamal Khashoggi some years ago, and to have the government of Canada accuse another democracy of the same type of behavior is shocking, and it's hard to see where this will end.
Joel, thanks for coming in this morning, answering a lot of questions for a lot of people out there. We should also add that same minister, earlier, did advise students, if they hold a visa, to contact consular services. Thanks for coming in, Joel.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.